All right, here we go. Sorry about the game, Megan. I don't know if you watched it or not. You probably did. Um,
So from this data,
what?
I said no, I did not watch it.
Oh. So it feels like I haven't talked to you guys forever, but I wanted to just kind of tell you a little bit about Pittsburgh, which seems like forever ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. I was looking back through my notes and just trying to figure out a way to summarize it and explain all of it and just what I learned and what I found. And there's just a few kind of things that stuck out that I want to share and talk to you about. But first off, I wanted to say with Friday night, are we good to go? I know like Christy and Megan, Aaron, Abby will be in the hills or mountains, not hills and mountains. But if you like Megan and Christy guys want to ride with me, just let me know. I can swing through and pick you up. And so yeah, if 7 o'clock still works for you guys, I don't know. I should call this week or call tomorrow and see if they take reservations or not, but we'll figure out something with that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see you guys and hang out and all that good stuff. So yeah, with Pittsburgh, like it was a really good experience. It was really cool. For those of you that don't know like why we went to Pittsburgh, because there's Super Saturdays all over. Like there's always one like in Minnesota, there's always some in Iowa. But like our kind of how it works is the people above us are from the Pittsburgh area. So, and actually the top person at kind of the top of the two coaches, I guess, they were both in the top 10. So Alyssa Shoemaker, like if you ever see any of her stuff, she is 3 coaches above me and she was number 8 in the company. And Melanie Mitro is the top coach for the second year in a row. And that's out of like 400,000 coaches. So it's kind of an insane number. And you think about it too, but like everybody that signed up as a discount coach counts as a coach. So how many of those are really working? But yeah, so out of like 400,000, these two are in the top 10, which is really awesome. Really cool. I would definitely suggest if you have not checked out Melanie Mitchell like on YouTube and stuff, find her, because when I first started, her videos were all that I watched. And a lot of what I learned was from her, because she started like just literally from the ground up and like 4 years ago, I think. So every place, everywhere she's gotten has come from, I've learned a lot from her. So that's kind of why we went to Pittsburgh, because our main kind of leaders of our team, so to say, are from that area. And January is kind of a big celebration month, New Year, celebrating those two making top 10. So that's kind of why we went to Pittsburgh. April 2nd is going to be the next Super Saturday, and we'll probably go like to Minneapolis or something like that. I know that's what they've done in the past. So I told Heather we should have our own Super Saturday. So at some point that might be an option too, which would be pretty cool, just to kind of, get all of our coaches together in the area and have an event, like have a workout. And, and to be honest, like it was awesome. Like it was really cool. It wasn't kind of what I had expected, just because like so many of the people were from the area. Like they literally just drove a half an hour, did the workout, went to the thing, and then left, so us, like it was a bigger deal because we, travel 1,000 miles or whatever. But so if we did our own, I think it would just be kind of cool and kind of fun to do kind of our own thing. But yeah, so, and like Abby, for you, there's probably tons in the Kansas City area. So I know that might be out of your comfort zone a little bit, but but just like even traveling and going there and it's not saying, oh, you're not on our team, you can't go, those kind of things. So definitely mark that down. I kind of put that on my dream board this year, that I would go to each one. So there's like 4 in the year, just because it's kind of that way to connect, and it's one of those events, and just kind of a good way to market. And it was kind of eye-opening for myself and a lot of them to look around you and see that it's more than just your little bubble. It's easy to get caught up in, okay, I live in Sanborn, Iowa, a town of however many people. Everybody here already has a coach. Everybody's doing their own thing. It's easy to get caught up in that. But when you kind of travel and you see the big realm of it and you see how many people there are, it was just, yeah, just kind of eye-opening, and seeing how many different kinds of coaches there were. One of the big things that stuck out for me is every time we got in an Uber or like the taxi or whatever, they would be like, "Oh, what are you here for?" And we were like, "Oh, the Beachbody convention." And they were like, "Beachbody?" And we were like, "Yeah, you know, like P90X and stuff." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of P90X." So in my mind, I'm like, well, here you have all these people in Pittsburgh that do Beachbody, but yet almost every person we met that wasn't related to Beachbody had no idea what Beachbody was. So even though sometimes you get those blinders on, like, oh, everybody knows about this, everybody coaches in our area, all this stuff, there's still always going to be people out there that need your help. And that just comes with expanding your market, adding all those random people, you know, sending them those messages and adding to your network and those kind of things. So for me, that was what I kind of noticed was, you know, sometimes you think, oh my gosh, you know, there's so many coaches, there's so many people from my hometown that already are doing something or a different program or whatever it might be. But just to kind of step outside of that little circle and see that there is so much more out there, so many more people to help and those kind of things. And Carl Deichler, the CEO, he talked about, he did a numbers game. So like we made, I think Beachbody last year made $1.3 billion in like total sales and commissions and all that kind of stuff, which is an insane number. But then he talks about how many people are still obese and overweight. And really that's what our point is to help those people change their lives and become healthier. And it's not about the money and it's not about how much, you know, Beachbody makes. It's about those lives that are changed. And so he did give a number, and I can't remember what it was. I didn't write it down, of what his goal was, you know, for challenge packs to sell or lives to change and that kind of thing. But you know, it was a cool, eye-opening experience. I've looked up to Melanie for a long time. Her, like I said, her videos, I watched them when I first started, and even now, like if I need something, I'll Google it or I'll YouTube it and try and type her name in and see what she has to say about it. So it was cool to hear her talk. A lot of her coaches talk. Got a lot of great advice at the training and those kind of things, and got my picture with Autumn. And I don't even remember what I said because I was trying to be cool, and I don't even remember what I said. Like I was like, I don't want to be cliche and be like, you've changed my life, but somebody told me, they're like, tell her you did it all for the cookie, and I just froze. I was like, woo. So I did give her a hug though after we took our picture. I was like, can I give you a hug? And I don't know if you saw my picture, but I'm totally standing like a goon, like, oh, because she's tiny. But anyway, so that was probably the coolest thing, was getting to meet her and just, yeah, get my picture taken with her and stuff. But yeah, so that was, I guess, a big thing for me, was just noticing that there's so many more people out there that need our help that even, you know, aren't there yet and don't know. So a couple other things that really stuck out to me were, and they've talked about it, they talked about it at the training, but then it's also been kind of in my mind since then, but it's putting up your blinders. And this is something I've really had to work on, especially the last week with being in the hospital and not being able to do any work. I had to put the blinders on and not focus on what other coaches were doing, because here I was at a point where I was like, I can't post about this. I can't do any work or anything because my mind is on my child and those kind of things. So putting the blinders up and focusing on you and your story, and not looking at another coach and saying, oh, I should do a post like that, or I need to do that, or I don't have their results, or I don't have that same cool idea, or whatever it might be. So like really focus on you and your story and what it is, because that's what people will be drawn to, is you and you being honest and you sharing your story. And I can tell you, the more that you share your story and the more that you are open and honest, the more success you're going to have. And that's scary. It is scary to share and be totally honest and say exactly how you feel. But the second that you do that and you open up, that's when you're going to find somebody and reach somebody that is struggling the same way as you, or that has been watching you, and finally they see that glimpse of who you really are, and they're drawn to you. So just being as open and as honest as you can. It's good to follow those top coaches to see what they're doing, how they're building. I still follow Melanie. I still follow Alyssa. But to be honest, I actually went through last week and I unfollowed Hillary. So I'm still friends with her, but I don't see her posts. I unfollowed Heather. And then a couple other people that are around the area that are other coaches. I unfollowed them. So because to me, I was getting to that point, especially last week. I would see a post and I was like, gosh, that's a really good idea. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I do that? And then I'd get down on myself. And I was already in kind of a downer situation anyways. And then I saw that and I'm like, and it kept tearing me down. And I looked back through my notes. I was like, no, like I can't. I have to focus on me, my story, my journey. And so it felt good. It felt good to unfollow them. You guys, I have not unfollowed because you guys are my friends and I won't unfollow you. But me personally, where I'm at, like I couldn't do it. I needed to unfollow them. I also started, if somebody else like that I've randomly added is a coach, I unfollowed them as well, because then I'm not tempted by seeing their posts and like reaching out to them or those kind of things. And that was just a choice I made. And you can do the same, or if you still want to follow them to get the advice and the tips and those kind of things, and you can always still go to their page and look at it and see what they're doing. But it's really important to think about who you are. What's your story? And you might be sitting here thinking like, I don't have one, but you do. How you got started, what you've overcome, what your results are, it all is your story. And it's not each of us, all 5 of us here, we each have a different story. We each have a different reason. We have a different why. But that's what makes you so unique. And if we were to take 5 random people, each one of them would be drawn to a different person based on their story. And that's just the way that it is. And so don't be afraid of it, and don't be, I don't have one. Embrace it, talk about it, share your struggles, share your life and what you're going through and those kind of things. So you are who you are, and that's the best. You are the best, and you're here because you are you, and people are going to be drawn to you like that. I sometimes have found if I get a challenger who I'm not open and honest with, like we don't have a great connection. I don't feel like they have a great experience because I feel like I can't be myself with them sometimes. And I've had it before, like, it's getting towards the end of the month, somebody wants in, yes, buy a challenge pack, do it. And then I get the 2 points and I'm at 10, whew, I'm done, good. But then I look back on it and I'm like, we didn't really mesh, and when like you get a good challenger connection, like 3 of my challengers sitting here, you get a good connection and it just goes. And that comes from being open and honest and sharing with them and those kind of things. So think about that. Think about how you're posting. Are you being open? Are you being honest? Or are you trying to kind of fit the mold of what you think you should be? Because there is no mold. You are you for a reason, and you're going to attract who you attract based on you and your story. So that was kind of my big takeaway from the different trainings that we did. They talked about social media training and all that kind of stuff. And, but those were the big things that stuck out to me, was that, yes, I still follow Alyssa. Yes, I still follow Melanie, but I'm not them. And after meeting them and seeing them, all of those top coaches, I'm not like any of them. And I'm not like Heather. I'm not like Hillary. I'm me. And none of you are like me either. We all have a different story. You all have your different kind of your brand and your marketing. You guys all took the color code test, and I thought it was hilarious that you all were blue. Like, just everybody is blue. Megan, I was surprised though. I didn't think you'd be blue. I thought you'd be red, but that was the only one that kind of surprised me, that you were blue. But and then I took the test, and I was like, I was a lot blue, and then I was like the second close, like the blue and red were really similar. And so I don't know if you went through and you read that, like what that said about your personality and stuff. but you definitely attract those that are the same color as you. So, and when they talked about it, like how you relate to those people. So like as a blue, I understand kind of where you're coming from. But then in that red tendency that I have, I'm more of like, okay, let's go get it done. Like I need a challenge. Here we go. But whereas the blues, let me see, what did I have about the blues? We're more, as a blue, we're more about emotion. So like when I say to you, oh, you should be emerald because it'll make you feel like your business is moving forward and you're doing it, and you hear that, you're like, yes, okay, I want to be emerald. Whereas like a yellow, who's kind of that outgoing, like always likes to have fun, that kind of person, if you kind of are like, oh, emerald's really cool because it's your rank, then they're like, oh, awesome, I want to get it. So something, when you start expanding and you start building your team and getting your coaches, I plan on having the rest of my coaches from here on out take that color test, just because then, like let's say, I don't know, Erin, what color you were, but like let's say Erin was a white or whatever, which is like super, like I don't think any of you were white, but and I don't think Erin was either, but it was like whites are like super needy, like hold my hand and tell me exactly when to drink my water and when to, or whatever. Like they're just, they just can't do anything by themselves. So, and then let's say Megan, who's the blue, pretty independent, blah, blah, blah. So they get set up together and they're going to kind of butt heads and they're going to conflict because their personalities are different. Their colors are different. But as a coach, if you know that, then you know how to go about them. And the same thing with your challengers. You can maybe kind of read up on that and know like what your challengers, what their personality is, and then, how to relate to them, so how to talk to them. And it was saying that in our groups, like using the color code test in the groups. So the preseason week is where you hit those whites. So we walk it through step by step. Today was talking about clean eating, then make your meal plan, then do this and this and this. So you step by step walk it out for the whites that first week. Then the preseason, then week 1 targets those red personalities. So rate yourself. How did you do? Who gets the best score? Who nailed their workout completely? Who ate all of their food? The second week is those yellows. So in the second week, that's when you can play those games like who won or who lost the most weight. Okay, you get this, or kind of tie it into them because they like that competition. They like that that sense of winning a prize or something like that. And then the third week is the blues. So like that emotional, like how did your results end up? What were your successes? Where did you share your results so we can compliment you and those kind of things. So we kind of do that already, but just something that we can think about too is just how to target those challengers and put a focus on each week. And the meal planning post that I did like on Saturday, I think it was Saturday I did it. It just kind of came to me. I was like, you know what? Let's just see if we can get some more people to share their meal plans, because we each do it a certain way, but our challengers might need to see a different way to do that as well too. So I don't know if that's something we can maybe do to try and get our challengers to post their meal plan each week, take a picture of it, whatever, so we can share those ideas and just kind of get going. Because I don't know what you guys are kind of seeing, but a few of my challengers are saying, everything's going great. I want more meal ideas. I feel like we're getting bored or we're eating the same thing. So I think if we can try and get more people to share their meal plans and stuff, that might help. I don't know if you guys have noticed that at all with your people too. But, so yeah, maybe we can try something like that to keep sharing your recipes, your meal plans, trying to get a little bit more challenger interaction on that too. To see where we're going from that. So, but yeah, so that was a little gist of what I wanted to kind of tell you about from Pittsburgh. So, and then so everybody's on the Team Cup, which will start February 1st. So, and there's 29 days in February, so we get 29 days. But good prizes. Yeah. I don't know, I kind of went back and forth on this, whether to to share this or not. I told Megan about it today. But I think I just want to share it with you so you guys kind of know like how I feel or what where I'm at right now. But so it goes in our line of people or whatever. Like it goes me and then Heather, then Hillary, then Alyssa, and then Melanie is Alyssa's coach. So Alyssa, she was there obviously at Pittsburgh. And I kept like looking at her because I'm like, oh, you know, like she's a real person, like whatever. And it was kind of out of my comfort zone, but I walked up to her and I was just like, I'm going to introduce myself because like, you know, she should know who I am. Like she does recognition shout outs each week and my name is always at the top, like towards the top. I'm like, she should know, you know, we're friends on Facebook. Like I'm sure she knows me or whatever. And so walk up and I'm like, hey, I'm like, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Kylie Cooper, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, hey, and just kind of looked at me and like Heather was standing there. I'm like, oh, I'm one of Heather's coaches, you know. And she just kind of looked at me and then she started talking and saying all this stuff. And I walked away and I'm like, I don't think she had any idea who I was. And I was telling one of the other girls, Jill Sitzman, I'm like, honestly, I was like, I don't, the way she was talking, like she had no idea who I was. And then Jill's like, well, I bet she thought you were Hillary LaPointe. I don't know if you guys see her on Facebook too, who had just hit diamond like the week before Thanksgiving. And she helped Hillary Dixon get to 2-star. And she's like, I bet she thought that you were Hillary LaPointe. And it kind of put a buzzkill on me for like a while because actually not until really last night. It kept like weighing on my mind. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like here I am. I work my butt off every month. You know, I work hard. I'm building a team and you don't even know who I am, you know, and even to get Heather and Hillary mixed up, I'm like, you don't even know who your own coaches are. So it kind of bothered me. And finally last night was like one of the first nights that Kevin and I actually got to sit down and like talk about my weekend in Pittsburgh. And I was telling him that, and he goes, you know, because I wouldn't really worry about it because he goes, think about how many people she has under her. He goes, she probably doesn't even do her stuff on Facebook. Like it's probably somebody else. And he's like, all you can really control is you and worry about you. And just something in the way that he said it just made me click. And I was like, you know what? All that matters to me at this point is you guys. Like, you are my friends. You are my team. I know each of you. Like, if you were to walk up to me and say, oh, hey, I'm Erin. Like, nice to meet you. I wouldn't be like, oh, blah, blah, and like talk to you like you're Laura or something. Like, I know who you are. And it just got me thinking, like, you know what? No, like, I'm not going to let that bother me because you guys are what matter to me. And it's not, I don't need her to know who I am. Like, that's fine, you know, whatever. But I was like, I don't ever want to get to that point where I don't know the people on my team, and I don't want it to be that way. So it kind of bothered me for a while until I kind of talked to Kevin, and he kind of made me realize, like, you know, she's never on Facebook anyway. She probably just posts her own pictures and that's it, you know. And so, like, just kind of, yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and just kind of let you know that even if within the team, you know, on Heather's page or Hillary's page, if you kind of feel like you're just a fly on the wall, like in this group, in this page, you matter to me. And I'm always here for you, and I'll always remember your name and not confuse you with somebody else. So, but yeah. So, but I guess when you make $72,000 a week, like, I guess you're allowed to not know who the little Kylie Cooper is from Iowa. I guess it's okay. You don't know me. So. Which, after I told Kevin that, he's like, get on the computer and get to work. But, yeah, that's his name. So. All right. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Sorry if that wasn't very. Did anybody listen to the team call, the Royal Republic call last night at 8 o'clock? I'll try and find the recording if I can. But it was of a coach that in July of last year, she was ready to quit. Like, she was where I'm at. She was a diamond, ready to quit, ready to walk away. And she finished the end of the year 5-star and elite. So in like 5 months, she totally kicked butt and made a comeback and got 5 people to diamond and hit elite and all this stuff. So she gave a lot of good tips on just building your comeback and being consistent and those kind of things. So I know some of you, January is awesome for you, and I know some of you are struggling in January too. So the best thing I can say is just keep up your vitals, post, invite, message, do your own workout, and don't ever lose sight of you. You still have to work on you, your workouts, your results. To me, personal development is really important too. But for me, it's almost just that workout and that aspect for me, and that getting my nutrition down. That's almost a big part for me too of working on that vital and feeling good about you as well too. Any questions you guys have? Anything you want to talk about?
When do we have like our next coach training going on? Is that
I think February 1st, because they usually do it at the beginning of the month. We'll probably have another sneak peek here next week, or a live event next week, and then we'll do new coach training February 1st, I think, whatever the first Monday of the month is. So. And I think Abby asked it in our page, when is it too soon to ask a challenger about coaching? And, play it by ear. It depends on when the groups fall into place, but I usually try and wait till after their first round. And then sometimes I even wait longer. It depends on the person. Because sometimes I get, and I did the same thing. Megan did it. I want to work on me first. And I'm getting that a lot with my people that I just had in the sneak peek in the middle of the month. Them saying, well, hey, I want to work on me first, get my results, and then I can help others. And so I do get that a lot, but then I continue to go back to them because they're still thinking about it too. So it just kind of depends, but I don't ever think, I used to be scared of asking people too when I started. Like I was like, oh, I don't want to ask you to coach. But not only is it the way that you're going to move your business forward, but you got to think of that as, you invited them to the challenge group, they're a challenger. Think about what a blessing that was for them, and think about how coaching can be that second blessing for them. It's such a great thing that you have going for you. Why wouldn't you want to ask somebody? I don't think I've ever had anybody be offended by me asking them if they would want to be interested in coaching. Yes, people have been offended when I ask them to join a challenge group, but, I've never had somebody say, oh, you think I would be able to help people? Like, why would you ever ask me that, So, and I started to also, like, a couple months ago, I just asked almost all of them, because rather than me sit there and say, oh my gosh, she's getting married, she's already has 3 kids or whatever, there's no way she'd want to do this, like she's probably really busy. Rather than me saying that, I throw it out there to them and let them decide. You know what, I'm too busy right now, or let them decide, hey, yeah, I think this could work. So I've just kind of started throwing it out to almost all of them, unless there's somebody that I don't think we would work well with. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, you can only put so much effort into getting people to want to coach, and some of them, if I'm like, it's pulling teeth to get you to message me back about your challenge group, then I'm like, coaching might not be for you, those kind of things. But I don't think it's ever too soon, and I don't think it's ever wrong to ask somebody either. But that will come with time. But
is it bad that like I find it easier to ask my challengers to be coaches than just like posting a coaching, thing on my Facebook and stuff? I just find that like hard to like ask somebody, hey, do you want to coach, if they like have never even done the program, or I don't know.
Yeah, it is hard. And couple times I challenged myself to ask random people, and I've gotten nowhere with them. They're usually like, okay, sure, and then I add them in, and then I never hear from them again. Or, my hope is that I invite them, they decide to do a challenge group, and then they decide to coach. But no, and I think when you're just starting out too, I think your challengers are your best market for coaching. And eventually, just like anything, you have to expand it and find other ones too. But I just, and that's your choice, how you want to do it. Do you, post about what coaching has done for you, and people may be excited or want to try it. But yeah, I've tried inviting random people that I think would be good, but I haven't gotten anywhere with that. I get more luck out of my challenges. So.
Another thing is like Hillary and Heather and stuff were just talking about trying to post more about the coaching side of it, because like normally I post like that I worked out or show a video, and then I try to find like a quote or something that happened during the day, but I kind of lack on making coaching posts. Is there like any advice you have on that?
Just kind of like with your workouts, kind of look at it as your workout picture. So I think it could be something as simple as, look at what I earned this month. Like, here's my pink sweatshirt. Like, look at what I earned this month. What a great thing that my company gives back to me for doing hard work or something like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a, like, here's coaching. Do you want to join? Do you want a sneak peek? Do you want to know about this? Like, it could be just little snippets, like extra money to pay for this, or, look at what one of my challengers has said, or doing like that challenger spotlight or your coach spotlight. Those kind of things just kind of are snippets of what you do as a coach without full out saying, like, do you want to join my sneak peek group? You know what I mean? So kind of looking at it like your workouts too, like how you post something about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, because I was I was trying to think of like something to use, like, because we're actually going on a honeymoon. Yay. So I was going to use something about like how I have extra money to, to like pay for that kind of a thing, but I don't want to like be like throw money necessarily like in people's face or out there or something like that, because when I started, obviously I wasn't like, I'm going to do this for the money. I started because I was like, I have a story to share, but at the same time, I mean, we are making money, so.
Yeah, and I don't think, I think if you just threw out just something like, it's just nice to not have to worry about it because of this side gig, this side job that I'm doing that gives me a little extra cash. Or, like I've talked about my student loans before, how I can make an extra payment because I have this job where I don't have to leave my house and I can still be with my family, that kind of thing. So I think just trying to open up a little bit more about what it's done for you or what you do as a coach or how it's helped you,
Right.
I know, and posting about coaching and inviting about coaching for some reason just seems so scary. Even I do it too. Like, I'm like, why is that so scary? But I think it doesn't come natural because when you start, you're so focused on getting challengers. You don't think about, I need to get coaches because I'm just coaching. Like, I'm just starting. So I think it's just kind of that unnatural because we're like, I need challengers. I want people to join my group. And it's one of those things that has to play catch up from behind when we, but I think if you just kind of change your mindset, like, this is just like my workout post. I got to do something about coaching. I got to find my quote. I got to share about my shake, but now I got to share something about the business opportunity. And I lack it too. I struggle with it too.
Yeah. One thing is kind of off topic, but Nicole had mentioned something about if we ever, in our group, like start coming up with challengers that are a little bit older than us, because Nicole said she posts in our group and everything, and she does a really good job with that, but she said it would just be nice for her and maybe some other people, if she starts coaching and adding people in and, just like other challengers, if there's like a group for older ladies, she said, because like I even talked to my mom about it just to kind of get her perspective on it. And she's like, yeah, at 55, taking a selfie isn't necessarily like, like something they're comfortable with or whatever. And I guess I kind of noticed that with like Judy and Sheila, like they send me all of their stuff, but they don't post on Facebook because I don't know, sometimes they don't feel comfortable, like sharing their selfie or something. And I just said that the group isn't like your results, but it's nice to just be like incorporated in with the group. But it's just kind of something that Nicole brought up that I thought was kind of interesting. But
yeah, and I don't know, like on Hillary's page, I know they may have some coaches that have older people. So when Nicole's ready or when they have enough people, we can totally set one up. I mean, even if it's 10 people or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I mean, like with guys, like obviously right now we don't have a ton, but I noticed that there's a few more with the hammer and chisel and everything else. And I think Christy or somebody has a guy in the group now. And so, like, just like that aspect of it, because Aaron said, you know, he would be intimidated too posting with, you know, a bunch of, you know, younger girls or whatever and stuff too. So,
At least we're all keeping it PG this round instead of
I just want Christy to like just sports bra and then have kids like hanging on our muscles and just like, yeah, full body shot. Yeah.
I haven't seen her lately, and it makes my life happy.
She wouldn't post in our group, but then she'd always post in the hammer and chisel one. So I was like, that's cool. But
anyways, lesson release. Peace out. Awesome. Well, it's good to see you guys. Some of you I'll see on Friday, but I promise next week I'll have more of an actual stuff to talk about. But as I'm sitting on the couch, I'm like, I should probably figure out some stuff to tell him, to talk to him about. Oh. So, all right. Well, happy Tuesday. Tomorrow's hump day. Abby, have fun on your trip. Don't get hurt.
I won't. I'm only going to go skiing one day, and then the next day I'm not going to do anything besides message people.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to head to bed. I'm tired. I took a Benadryl an hour ago so I'd sleep. So, all right. Well, see some of you on Friday and see your pictures tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right. Night.